Welcome back to the channel Nation of Glory, where we bring you the stories of warriors, dreamers, and fighters whose journeys inspire the world. Today, we dive deep into the extraordinary life of a man who crossed continents, overcame struggles, carried two cultures in his heart, and rose to become one of the most captivating performers in modern wrestling. This is the emotional and powerful journey of Oliver Sauter, a Nigerian-Swiss athlete, a global fighter, and a man the wrestling world came to know as Oro, Oliver Carter, and Oro Mensah. But today, we are not speaking about the ring names. We're going to the roots, to the heart, to the fire that turned a quiet dreamer into a standout star. Picture a childhood shaped by two worlds, the colorful vibrance of Nigeria and the cold, breathtaking landscapes of Switzerland. Imagine growing up between cultures so different, yet finding yourself in both. That was Oliver's reality, a young boy with a heritage rich in strength, music, culture, passion, and discipline. Growing up as a mixed heritage child is not always easy. You stand between identities, between expectations, and between worlds that don't always understand each other. But for Oliver, that wasn't a struggle, it was a blessing. A dual force, a double source of power. Because inside him lived the rhythm of Africa and the precision of Europe. And one day, he would take both into the ring. From the very beginning, Oliver wasn't the loudest child. He wasn't the kid who walked into rooms demanding attention. He was quiet, observant, thoughtful, and intense in ways only people close to him could understand. But inside that quiet boy lived a dream, a wild dream, a dream that felt bigger than the kind of expectations people had for him. He wanted something different, something powerful, something meaningful, and that something was wrestling. Most kids grow up watching wrestling as entertainment. But Oliver watched it as a possibility, a place where character meets courage, where movement becomes art, where identity becomes a weapon. When he watched wrestlers perform, he didn't just see superstars. He saw a place where he could be himself. A place where being different wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. As he grew older, the dream didn't fade. It got louder. It pushed him, shaped him, kept him awake at night. But dreams aren't enough. You need sacrifice, focus, and a willingness to endure pain most people never see. And that is where Oliver's journey truly began, alone, without guarantees, without shortcuts, without anyone telling him he was destined for greatness. He carved that destiny himself. Training wasn't easy. Wrestling schools were tough, intense, unforgiving. Many struggled, many walked away, but Oliver wasn't like the rest. He didn't enter the ring with the arrogance of someone expecting success. He entered with humility, passion, and the kind of work ethic that makes coaches stop and pay attention. He studied movement like a scientist. He learned psychology like an artist. He understood timing, rhythm, character, and energy. He wasn't just training to wrestle, he was training to express something deep inside him. Every fall taught him something. Every bruise reminded him of how far he still had to go. Every moment inside that ring pushed him toward the reality he wanted. And slowly, the world began to notice. Independent circuits across Europe started to see this young, talented wrestler with agility, charisma, and a spark that set him apart. People didn't just watch him, they felt him. And that feeling is something you can't teach. It's something you're born with. The independent scene shaped him. It was here that he fought in small venues with crowds close enough to touch. Here where the air smelled like sweat and excitement. Here where a wrestler earns respect. Not with fame, but with passion. Oliver fought opponents bigger than him, faster than him, more experienced than him, but he never backed down. He grew stronger, sharper, wilder, more determined. And then, the moment every wrestler dreams of came. A call, a chance, an opportunity so big that it could change his life forever. WWE had taken notice. They saw potential in him, something rare, something special. And when he signed with WWE, Oliver Sauter didn't just step onto a bigger stage. He stepped into history. Performing under the name Oliver Carter, he joined NXT UK, a brand known for its intensity, passion, and some of the toughest competitors in the world. This was not a place where stars were handed anything. You had to fight for respect, earn your spot, and prove that you belonged every single night. And Oliver did exactly that. He entered with speed like lightning. Jumps that defied gravity, strikes that echoed with precision. And a smile, yes, a smile, that connected instantly with fans. He carried with him the light of two cultures and the heart of a man who had never forgotten where he came from. In NXT UK, Oliver found not only competition, but partnership. Together with Ashton Smith, he formed a team that captured the hearts of fans everywhere. Their chemistry was real, their brotherhood was genuine, and their journey carried something special, two men chasing dreams alongside each other, pushing each other, supporting each other. And then it happened, the moment that changed his career forever. Oliver Carter became an NXT UK Tag Team Champion. That victory wasn't just a title win. It was the culmination of years of sacrifice, sweat, doubt, pain, joy, growth, and unshakable belief. In that moment, the world didn't just see a wrestler celebrating, they saw a man who fought his way from childhood dreams to championship gold. But as every wrestler learns, change is constant. Nothing stays the same. When NXT UK came to an end and the global wrestling landscape shifted, Oliver faced something deeper than any opponent: uncertainty. The kind that shakes you. The kind that forces you to question everything. What comes next? What changes now? Where does the journey go from here? But Oliver was never someone who broke under pressure. He adapted, he evolved, he transformed, and he emerged with a new identity: Oro Mensah. A name inspired by rhythm, movement, and cultural pride. A name that felt alive. A name that carried energy, color, style, and intensity. Oro wasn't just a new character. Oro was a new chapter. When he arrived in NXT under this new persona, fans felt something electric. Oro was fast, confident, stylish, a performer whose entrances felt like a celebration and whose spirit elevated every match. He represented the joy of wrestling, the art of motion, the freedom of expression. And every time he hit those ropes, he looked like a man finally stepping into the fullness of who he was meant to be. But once again, change arrived, unexpected, unpredictable, and transformative. Oliver transitioned into life as a freelancer, performing simply as Oro, the name that carried the essence of his journey. Wrestling fans across the world continued to support him, not because of a company name next to his own, but because of who he was: a fighter, a performer, a dreamer, a man who embodied resilience. Through every ring he stepped into, one truth remained: he carried both Nigeria and Switzerland with him. Two cultures, one soul. Two identities, one purpose. His movement, his style, his charisma, they were not manufactured. They were authentic expressions of a man who learned to blend worlds into something uniquely his own. What makes Oliver's story so moving isn't just the championships he won or the companies he worked for. It's the emotional reality of a man who had to go against the odds. A man who grew up in two countries where the wrestling world wasn't always accessible or understood. A man who dared to chase a dream most never even attempt. He didn't come from a place where becoming a wrestler was the obvious path. He came from a place where people might have told him to choose something easier, something safer, something more ordinary. But he didn't want ordinary. He wanted extraordinary. And he built it with his own hands. He faced failures that would break many. Had moments where uncertainty clouded his future. Experienced injuries that tested his pain tolerance and his mental strength. But he kept moving forward. Because the fire inside him burned brighter than the doubt around him. As Oro continues to perform around the world, one thing becomes clear: this story is still being written. The chapters ahead are full of possibility. Full of evolution. Full of new paths, new rivalries, new victories, new beginnings. And fans who have followed him from Oliver Carter to Oro Mensah and now to Oro the freelancer are witnessing something rare: a wrestler growing in real time, embracing change, stepping into new horizons without fear. But perhaps the most inspiring part of his story is that he stayed true to himself. Through every transition, he never lost the joy of movement. He never lost the connection with people. He never lost the pride in his heritage. He never lost the humility that makes him such a beloved performer. He wrestles with grace, passion, personality, and connection, qualities that make fans root for him no matter where he goes. Every time he steps into a ring, whether it's in front of thousands or in front of a smaller crowd, he gives the same energy. The same smile. The same spirit. That's what makes Oro special. That's what makes him unforgettable. He reminds us that your journey doesn't have to be predictable. It doesn't have to follow a straight line. It doesn't have to be defined by others. Your journey can twist, turn, grow, evolve, and transform, and still lead you to greatness. His story inspires anyone who feels caught between cultures, anyone who feels different, anyone who feels unseen, anyone who feels like they don't fit a mold. Oro shows that identity isn't a limitation, it's a superpower. That heritage isn't something you hide, it's something you carry proudly. That dreams aren't meant to be negotiated, they're meant to be pursued fearlessly. And that every chapter of life, even the unexpected ones, can lead to something beautiful. So today, as we close this emotional journey of a Nigerian-Swiss kid who chased the impossible, remember this: greatness isn't about how loudly you enter the world. It's about how deeply you impact it. It's about staying true to who you are. It's about walking into your future with courage and authenticity. Thank you for joining us on this powerful story here on Nation of Glory. If this journey touched you, inspired you, or made you feel something, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories. Hit the like button to support our work, and share this video to inspire others who may need to hear a story of courage, identity, and perseverance. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting, and thank you for being part of the Nation of Glory. Stay strong, stay inspired, and stay connected.